Right. All right, Cooper. Good evening to YouTube. I know that there are other lives going on tonight, so I'm expecting maybe people won't come in here. So I'll do what I intended to do on Saturday, which was just relay details of the different attacks and so on that have been going on across the United States, and that there have been some cover-ups on. So give me a few seconds and then we will get into it. Oh, hi, Frida. You are first. Hi, Simples. How are you guys? I set it for flipping 8 o'clock and then I was like, oh, shine a light. I'm going to have to put it back to 9. So I'm sorry if I mess people up. Hi, Eternal. I was just going to say you'd come in and then I'd had to change the time. No, you're not going nuts at all. But I just realised there are other lives on, but obviously I schedule mine, so it was a little bit. I thought, well, I can't really cancel it. I'll just keep going, and then if people come in, they come in, and if they don't, they don't, and can always catch up later. How is everybody? And were you all aware of the super blood moon? I think it reached its peak at about 2 a.m. this morning. So I think apparently it is anybody who's into astrology. I'm not as such, but I do kind of follow the moon and so on. Apparently it's in Scorpio, which means that it's a great time to get rid of any excess baggage, trauma, and so on and so forth. Oh, bear with me a second.
Excess baggage.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. The minute I said... Stop. Minute I said excess baggage, Porky just came in and tried to drag me out the house. Oh, thanks, Frida. Yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'll just carry on doing it and what have you. So, right. So yeah, anyway, today apparently is a great time to air any grievances, get rid of any baggage, emotional and or otherwise. So speak your truth. So if you've anything to say to anybody, as long as it's not me, because I'm feeling tender today. I got quite I don't know, I got quite itchy, shall we say, when I was going over this dogman stuff again. Like unsettled. I'm going to say itchy, unsettled. It was Frida, wasn't it? Good for her. This is. We all know YouTube is full of fibbers, and a lot of the time you let it go because it's not worth hitting your radar. It's not worth the bad juju, But sometimes you just have to address somebody when they're fibbing about you, or because it does get you down. I think we've all been there, haven't we? I mean, I've had it done to me in real life. If I were to tell you the stuff that this one person said about me last year, at the time, not on here, this was in real life, but she sent me this text message. She was a malignant narcissist, managed to get rid of her. One of these that she was very big and bold on text messages, but after we'd fallen out, when she saw me in the street coming, because she'd sent me these horrendous text messages, she was running the other way. She'd see me coming and she'd run. Now, bear in mind, I'm like 5'2" and weighing out, and this wench is like, oh God, I think she's about 5'9". She weighs about 19 stone. Very mouthy, but that's all it is. It's mouthy. It's all mouth and no trousers. And seeing some of the stuff she was saying about me really, really hurt me. And I was reacting to it until I just woke up one morning and Uncle P, who you all remember from New Year's Eve, Uncle Pete had already had a run-in with this one as well and knows exactly what she's like. And she just said to me, you know what, mate, just let it go, because, the vileness of liars is just going to drag you down. And it does drag you down. I can understand Nuff. She must have been, when somebody's constantly saying something, and it's not just like it's to a group of friends, is it? This is stuff that's going out on a public forum. This platform, thousands of people potentially are seeing what's being said about you, which is untrue. So, yeah, sometimes you just have to address things. And most of the time I just ignore things. So I have got to that point in my life. So anyway, what's new with everybody? Any gossip, anything tasty going on before I start with some of these stories? Because there's one of them that's oh, is she Eternal Flame? Oh, flipping heck. Well, do you know what? Good for her. If she comes back, this is it. I think too many people on here have got that they're interested and interfering in and too invested in other people. What's the point? Like Nuff was showing, she doesn't give a toss. She's just got on with what she's done and doing a caravanning. Well, sorry, campervanning. Oh, she'll kill me for saying caravanning. And occasionally jumping up on lives. And I love it when she comes in here because she makes me laugh and, doing a little videos of her tours and things. She's just way past it. And like she said, she didn't want to have to address things, but she has done. And hopefully now it'll go away. But we all knew that who would come back. It's just another big dramatic flounce, isn't it? Well, welcome back. Just don't, crack on, do your thing. Hiya, Paul. How are you, my love? Oh, I need to have a spy on your photograph. Hang on. How's your sister doing, Chuck? For anyone who doesn't know, Paul's sister's been having a really rough time of it over the past few months. Oh, I like that. Now, is that... I'm going to show my ignorance. Is that anyone famous, like Geronimo or somebody? Or is it just... not just, but you know what I mean? Is it a particular native warrior? Or just an illustration? I like doing this. I pop in when I see people's different photographs. Right. So I was going to get down to it because there's a couple of... Because obviously I've come on late. I don't want to keep everybody too late. Especially with it being, a school night, so to speak. But I'm going to go over these. I did have 4. If you remember, I talked about one of these cases the other night. So I'm just going to stick to 3 of them. So we should have enough, enough to talk about if I get into these. Now, for Eternal Flame, because I know you weren't here when we've discussed these before, I'll just to give you an idea of the type of case I'm going to talk about. There are a lot of people being attacked by unknown animals across the United States. A spiritual leader illustration. It's a really lovely illustration, that, Paul. It's really nice. I had some tarot cards that were Native American tarots, and the the artwork on them was very similar to that. It was a shame though. I had to get rid of the cards because they didn't work for me. I just couldn't get a link with them at all. And they had been a gift. They were actually a gift from my dad. But yeah, I couldn't read them. They made me feel weird when I held them. So I thought, well, it's not to be. So I gifted them to a friend of mine. They worked perfectly for her. But yeah, very, very, very nice picture that is. All right, so as I said, just for anyone like, oh sorry, I'll just check here because we've got a bit of a delay. Frida's had a lovely day today with my son. He's working from home. He had a physio appointment near me, so he worked from my home. Oh, that's nice. Did you have lots of lovely things to eat? Please don't say yes, because I went back on my keto today and it is killing me. Because I've just, before he went out, I did porky steak, chips and onion rings. And obviously I couldn't have the onion rings or the chips or the steak, actually, because I'm doing intermittent fasting again. But I'm only going to do it through the week, and I'll have one day at weekend where I break it, because I found that that worked for me last time. Anyway, right, sorry, I'm digressing. Sorry, Eternal Flame, if you're waiting with bated breath. So just to give you an idea, one of the cases that we looked at the last time was back from 2020, and it was a lady called Dr. Nancy Shaw, who was 62 years old. Now, her car at 3 o'clock in the morning, I think they were state troopers, they were either state troopers or sheriff deputies, but they were driving down the road and they saw her car. Now, it was pointing in the wrong direction, on the wrong side of the road, pointing the wrong direction. It was engine running and the door was open. Now, they got out to have a look and they found Dr. Nancy Shaw. She was, I don't know if I just said that, she's 62 years old. They found her lying in a ditch. Now she was, she died from her traumatic injuries, and the autopsy report afterwards said death by multiple animals. Oh, hiya, Green Eyes. How are you, my darling? Just doing some of these dogmen things that I didn't manage to do the other night. Hope you're okay. You've just missed Porky. Out he's gone to work. Now, with this one, authorities wouldn't reveal the extent of her injuries. Other than that, they were consistent with animal attacks. So that was Dr. Nancy. Right. Fast forward, April of this year, so April the 20th to be precise, in Oklahoma. Now, this occurred at a place called Chandler, which is Lincoln County, Oklahoma. The victim's name wasn't released. Once again, a pack of dogs was suspected as being the cause of this, the injuries to this person. Now, what I can tell you is a 65-year-old man. He was found lying in the road at approximately 12 p.m. His body had been spotted by a passerby and they'd reported that it was a deceased individual, but when officers arrived on the scene, they found that he was actually still alive. Now, he had been lying in the road for hours, apparently. All his clothing had been removed, i.e. torn off. He was retrieved from the road and flown to hospital for extensive surgery. By all accounts, there were bites all over his body, apart from his neck. Now, the sheriff made a point of saying that, he was covered in bites, blah, 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 apart from his neck. There were no injuries to his neck. I'm not sure why he felt that that was significant to, to mention, but, whatever. Let's leave that there for a minute. Now, when I was reading or watching another channel, that channel host was saying that, when dogs are attacking, they will go for the throat, it's extremities, arms, hands, face, throat, scalp, but maybe it's just a coincidence. I don't know if anybody can hear all the seagulls. Can you hear that? It sounds like they're having an absolute party out in the street, and they are putting me off slightly. Probably shagging on the roof across the road again. They do this quite often. I need a gun. Anyway, I'll get back to this. So initially, they blamed dogs. See, this is where there are quite a few strange bits going on with this. Yeah, Eternal Flame. They're so noisy here. It is Green Eyes. It's like Alfred Hitchcock. Horrible buggers. Oh, they've gone. I think somebody's been out and shooed them away. Now, what they blamed dogs. Now, what they did was they blamed the dogs. They blamed the attack on dogs from a former marijuana grower's setup. Now, I'll tell you why this sounds weird, because, you know, quite a significant amount of time earlier, there'd been a raid on this place. It was a marijuana grower. He obviously had dogs roaming around, yada, yada. So he was arrested. The place was closed down. It was quite a huge place, you know, with greenhouses and whatnot. Kind of in the middle of a clearing. There's water there, which is always significant in these attacks, isn't it? There's woodland and what have you, but this was quite remote. Now, this is where it gets quite funny, because the sheriffs are blaming dogs. As I said, they're blaming the attack on dogs from a former marijuana grower. Okay? But after this guy was arrested and carted off to jail and his operation was closed down, the dogs were placed in temporary homes. Now, placing them in temporary homes indicates that they are looking to rehome them at some point. So also placing them in temporary homes is they're not actually still at the same property. So I don't understand why the blame is being put on the dogs from this marijuana grower, because surely they are in other areas or with other people. Why would they all be, you know, it's like over here, you won't get somebody fostering dogs, have them for a couple of weeks and then release them so that they can go back to where they came from before. It doesn't work like that. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't work like that in America. You know, maybe Paul can clarify that for us, but you know, it's very, very strange. So, and also when I was looking on Abnormal Investigations channel, you know, give him a shout out, because he's bringing a lot of these cases up. He showed an aerial view of this marijuana plant, and it looks like a very, very good place that something of some sort, depending what it is, could, you know, hide out undetected, unmolested, undisturbed, with quite easy access to the local roads, local habitation centres and so on, you know. So there you go. That's that one. So it's just this with the dogs again. It's always the damn dogs. Let's blame the dogs. They're blaming these dogs, you know, as being former marijuana growers, dogs that actually shouldn't have been there anyway. So yeah, so I don't know what you think of that one, but that's another weirdie. Now, so that happened on the 20th of April. 4 days later, so we're still in Oklahoma. We've now gone, so the first one was in Chandler, 38 miles. Now, this is by road, not as the crow flies, which, you know, so that would be significantly shorter. But 38 miles away by road in Neuala, Oklahoma, and this is 4 days later, a lady called Anita Mears. And she was found in her front yard. Now, Anita Mears was 61 years old. Now, this is really weird, even if I say so myself. She was found dead in a front yard 4 days after the first attack with apparent stab wounds. Okay, she was covered in large stab wounds. So the initial thoughts are that this is a homicide. Okay. However, this is where it gets a little bit freaky deaky. The Oklahoma County coroner, sorry, just turning my page, determined that her death was not a homicide, but that she was a victim of an attack by multiple dogs. All I'm going to say is WTF. Oh, bear with me a second to just see Frida. Where did the dogmen originate from? Does anyone know? No, Frida. You know, that there are some thoughts that the old European tales of werewolves were actually dogmen. Now, there are also tales of them, you know, Native American tales of similar things. Yes, Paul, dogs. Yeah. Wait till I get into it further. Just after I just answer Frida's question. So they're not sure, and then obviously we've got this issue where they appear to cloak themselves, where they've got telepathic abilities. Maybe a form of dogman, you know, maybe more like a werewolf that could shapeshift, came over with the, you know, the European settlers, came over, and it's kind of evolved into what it is now, maybe. Or maybe it's like we said, it could just be interdimensional, it's coming from another dimension. Or they could have always been in the Americas. And, you know, and then we've got the things like the skinwalkers, you know, the tales that the Navajo Indians tell about skinwalkers. You know, they're shapeshifters, people that can, you know, they change, and it's really bad luck to see them as well. You know, they can do you quite a lot of harm. They can follow you around. Very similar to what the dogmen are doing. So, so yeah, I don't think there's any hard or fast thoughts as to what they are, Frida. As you know, my personal thoughts is I think personally they're from another dimension. I think they're coming through some sort of a portal. But some people also think that they're alien. So I honestly don't know. Yeah, the shapeshifters, Paul. It's these skinwalkers, because a lot of the, you know, like on Skinwalker Ranch, and they had reports there of these gigantic wolves appearing. Maybe because I wanted to actually cover Skinwalker Ranch one night because of everything that goes on there, because it isn't just things like the skinwalkers, shapeshifters. It's also, you know, they've got the alien activity. They've also got the cattle mutilations that are going on, which is weird as out. There's just so many things going on at Skinwalker Ranch. You know, so I really would like to do just one evening on Skinwalker. You know, and I think it'd have to be a long one as well. You're probably talking 5 or 6 hours, and you still wouldn't have scratched the surface. You know, I mean, I think I've covered a couple of cases on here very briefly of things that have happened at Skinwalker Ranch. They did Eternal Flame. I remember watching that because didn't they find some evidence in the cave they went into? There was some evidence of witch activity or shaman activity just in as they went inside. That was the same one, wasn't it? Yeah, Frida, I think it would be really good to cover. So anyway, sorry, I shall just go back to this before I lose my train of thought on this. So obviously they've gone from she's covered in multiple stab wounds to then being the victim of an attack by multiple dogs. And like I said, what the fuck? How do you mistake dog bites for stab wounds? Has anybody got a clue? Because I haven't. all I could think of was there's some hell of the size of a canine tooth if they're that deep that they've been mistaken for stab wounds. But could they also be claws? You know, from these dogmen, they have these 4 to 6 inch long claws at the end of their fingers. I thought, could it be that one of these things has maybe grabbed her and the claws have all gone in? Because you think about it, something 4 inches long, going into your flesh. I mean, that to me could look like a stab mark, a knife. But I was thinking, if they were canine teeth, there would also be the imprints of other teeth, wouldn't there? And yeah, like Green Ace said then, well done, detectives. I mean, so again, this has gone to once the coroner had said that it was attacked by multiple dogs, the sheriff has then gone on to say that this is a pack of wild dogs is responsible for this attack. Once again, old favourite, old faithful, pack of wild dogs. Now, even though, sorry, Simples, I would have thought dog bite wounds would be classed as puncture wounds and not stab wounds. Exactly, Simples. And obviously, you can see a bite. If anybody's been bitten by a dog or a cat or a rat or anything, you can tell the difference. I mean, I've been bitten by a dog. I've been bitten by a damn horse. Oh God, that hurt. A lot more than you would think, actually. I've been bitten by a ferret. I've been bitten by my friend's cat. You can see the imprint, especially if they're not biting and tearing wounds. Well, you would think so, Frida. And this is what's happened. That's it, Simples. A whole wound. Sharp tooth produces a whole wound because it's like conical shaped, isn't it? Whereas a stab wound, it's flat for the most part. I mean, you will get some different shapes of knives, but for the most part, it's just going to be a very straight incision. And I don't understand. They've obviously seen this woman at site and they have seen her covered in. And if these are supposed to be experienced officers, yeah, they're going to know what a stab mark looks like. But yeah, once again, the body's carted away, it gets to the coroner's office, and then they decide to say that it's dog bites. But even though the sheriff is putting the blame on a pack of wild dogs, and they said the other thing as well, we don't know. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe the culprits will never be caught. Right? But he's admitted that the injuries were very large. I've heard coroners describe stabs and punctures as distinct things. Yeah, they are. They are. But, the sheriff is now saying, yeah, but these are very large injuries. Now, the other thing as well is that when she was found, her dog was with her. Now, a dog was found with a body standing over a gardener, and that dog was also injured. So they believe that it had been trying to defend her from whatever attacked her. Now, what I'm thinking of is that, because it didn't mention that she had it on a leash or anything, or she had still hold of it. It's just that the dog was standing over a gardener. Now, the fact that it was injured, not dead though, and not mortally wounded, I'm wondering if this is what happened. Do you remember the other case we talked about a few weeks ago where the dog was found, the Belgian Shepherd was found over its mistress and they shot it? because they thought the dog was responsible for attacking her. But it had done, because it was a protection dog, and it had done what it was supposed to do, which was try to revive her. You know, they found her blood around its muzzle because it had been licking her. But there were witnesses that said they saw that dog run away. They saw it run away as another huge black dog was attacking its owner. You know, the dog came back, you know, and to frighten away a protection dog, especially something with the heart of a lion, like a Belgian Shepherd or a German Shepherd, you know, they'll fight till the dying breath for you. But it ran away. And obviously it then came back once the thing had left its mistress, and unfortunately it was mistaken for the culprit. I'm wondering if this dog did the same thing, and that's why it was alive. It was injured, but it survived. And I'm wondering whether, as you know, they came under attack, it fled, hid, the attack finished, and then it came back. So, I mean, at least I know Eternal Flame, and at least this little dog, it was lucky that this one wasn't, you know, shot and laid the blame of the attack on. Such a shame. But I know that in the, because I think Porky was in that last chat, and who else was it? Was it Sid? And they were both saying, you know, that when EMT arrived at the scene, you know, their first priority is to get to the victim. And if that dog was growling and you know, and frightened and fearful, and they don't know if it's attacked or not, you know, her or not, then yeah, they are going to neutralize it so that they can try and save the human being. But you know, it is a shame. It is a shame. So, going to come to the weirdest of the lot, and this one is because if you remember the other night I mentioned the one that happened in Texas with the lady who was found, if you remember, between her car and the front of the house that she was going to. She worked as a carer for an elderly couple. Normally turned up at about 6 in the morning. When they realised she was late, they looked out of the window and they saw her lying on the ground in between her car and the front of their property at the, you know, the front door, obviously deceased, having been attacked. Again, that was blamed on a pack of dogs. Okay, so this next one is also from Texas, and this one is from Dallas, but it happened in 2016. Bear with me a second, I'm just going to have a little sip of water. Oh, thank you, Frida, darling. You're so kind. And the thing is, Green Eyes is going to hate me because I've also found 2 more cases in Australia that I'm going to cover. Sorry, babe. She hated me last time after I showed that one, if you remember. So, yeah, I found another couple. I've been doing a lot of digging around. And yeah, I found a couple of cases in Australia that I hadn't heard of before. And I thought, oh no, she's going to kill me. But I'll try and do them in the daytime. Maybe if I do a live that fits in with your daytime. So I know you will. One of the stories is really, really scary. I was reading it thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have to relay this in the daylight. I might have to record it and put it out on my stream rather than doing it live, because oh right, so you're 6:30 in the morning. Okie dokie. So I suppose if I'm, let me have a think then. Yeah, so if I were to do a live like early hours of the morning here, it would be a decent time for you then, wouldn't it? Yeah, I suppose I could do that, Green Eyes. It's just it really scared me. And I thought, oh, shitbags, I'm going to be doing this on my own in the pitch black. Yeah, fun, fun, fun. Anyway, 5 a.m. is a bit early for me. This time is better. Well, that was it. The thing is, Green Eyes, what I did was I meant to, I did it for 8, and then I realised I had to do something, so I knocked it back for 9. And then I am always conscious that when I do lives at 7 and 8 o'clock, it's a really unsociable hour for you. And obviously we always want you in the chats because, you make it, and it's not a good live without you here. So, I'll try and do, probably, if I may, try and do it Friday. And then it doesn't matter if I'm up a bit later, because obviously I'm aware people have to work and so, and I've got to work myself tomorrow as well. So I don't want to be on mega late tonight, which is why I thought if I just go over these stories. We love you right back. So, all right, okie dokie. Well, if I do that on Friday, then if I start at 9, it doesn't matter then if I go on for like 4 or 5 hours, does it? Because I don't have to get up for work the next day. Have to get up for ponies, but not work. I can always come back to bed for a little snooze. Right. This is the scaredy one, or the weird one. And I'm really glad that Simples and Green Eyes are in chat, because as nurses, I will have your... I will be grateful for your opinions on this one. Hiya, Mrs. Mercury. No, I've only been going for 40 minutes. So, in fact, probably no, I've probably only been telling my stories for about 25 minutes. So you've not missed too much. It's not going to be a very long one tonight. But yeah, I'll do Friday again. I'm going to try and do Wednesday. I need to get back into the routine of like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe a Saturday or a Sunday if there's anything that comes up. Oh, were you a nurse as well, Eternal Flame? Brilliant. Right. So we've got 3 people from the medical profession here, because this one is weird as out. And I just would like your opinions on it. So, and you'll know which bit when I get to it. I'm going to apologise in advance, because this one, if it triggers anybody, I'm really sorry, but there's no nice way of relaying these stories. They are gruesome. If you're of a squeamish nature, then maybe don't listen. So we're going back to May the 2nd, 2016. And again, this is a story that I got from Abnormal Investigations. He's a really good guy. And then I had a little look into it myself. I was like, oh, shit. So 2nd of May, 2016, 4:30 in the morning. It's almost a full moon. And it involves a lady called Antoinette Brown, who was 52 years old. Okay. Witnesses heard her being attacked and called 911. It was so bad, there were several calls made to 911. Nobody saw the attack, but they said it was sounding so bad that nobody was go outside because they were frightened for their own safety. It sounded like a fight. There was snarling, there was screaming. It was absolutely horrendous. So, like I said, she was found by the time they got out to see her. This was like 4:30 in the morning. Oh, what have I missed there? Used to be all the time when patient passed on and went to the... Oh, Eternal Flame, that's so good of you. Yeah, you guys who care for people in whatever aspect, it's you've got a special place in heaven waiting for you, or Valhalla if you're of my religious persuasion. So back to this one. They I mean, and if you think about it, in a lot of places, there'll be screaming and, you know, fights going on, attacks going on, or what have you. Most of the time, people don't even bother calling 911. You know, and this has been said. I was watching a program quite a while ago. Oh, Frida was a care worker as well. Oh, I think there's only me who doesn't really care about anybody or care for anyone. I look after Porky. That's kind of care in the community, I think. But yeah, good on you lot. Oh, you've cried many times working. Oh, green eyes. Oh, yeah, special kind of person to look after people. Yeah, so sorry, I'll go eat a bit of chocolate splodge now. It's put me off my food. Oh, Simples, I've started my keto again today, and it has killed me. I've done nothing but be a greedy pig since I moved in here. And yeah, I'm disgusted with myself. So keto today it is, and not just keto, intermittent fasting. So I'm doing 16:8 at the moment, but I will end up going to 18:6 once I've got back into it. But I've got a keto headache, which is another reason for me to not be on here for hours and hours tonight. I think I just need to I need to get in bed and forget about trying to eat shit. Right, sorry, I'm off waffling again. I do apologize. I shall go back to this. So, little recap again. 4:30 a.m. police turn up. This woman has been attacked. The woman being Antoinette Brown. Oh, I looked after my mum for 3 years. She had dementia, was bedridden. Oh, Frida. Oh, I'm sorry, love. But again, you know, it's what you do, isn't it? You know, I've got to the point now. My elderly aunt, and she's 79. She's, oh God, I can't even tell you, stick thin, and I mean, she looks like a Biafran. And she's walked out of bloody Auschwitz or something. She is which isn't politically correct of me. Sorry, guys, but you know, I'm just trying to give you the visualization. She is skeletal. They're saying it is what did they say? Non-specific geriatric anorexia, I think they called it. She eats like a sparrow. She pecks at her food. And she now is weighing 6 stone. And she's got oh God, when I saw her at my niece's wedding the other week, I was in shock. And I'd only seen her 3 weeks earlier than that because I'd gone over to visit her. She lives on her own. She's no children. And I think it's a case of, as a lot of elderly people do, they can't be bothered cooking. So, I mean, her calorific intake was, I wouldn't even want to think what it was. But I was saying to her, you know, you need to be eating a certain amount of calories in order for your body to just maintain itself. And so after a lot of bullying, we've managed to get her to the doctors, and she's got these shakes, a bit like a protein and vitamin shake that they give, apparently, I believe, to you know, elderly people in care homes who can't eat. So she's having 2 or 3 of these a day as well as food. But I think it's just got to the point where she can't be bothered. You know, it's too much of a. Oh, is that what it is? Simples. I didn't know what it was. I just know she gets these 2 boxes of it on a prescription at a time. But she's now, oh God, it's breaking my heart. She's had to get a walker. Not a Zimmer frame. It's one of those, you know, like the little, there's like 3 wheels on him. And my sister has managed to get hold of one for her, because she's even struggling to walk. But I was saying to her, as you guys all know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, she was saying, I don't know why I suddenly can't walk. And I said, well, if you're not eating, then, you know, you basically, your body's gone into starvation mode. And once it's eaten all up its fat reserves, it then starts to work on your muscle, and your body starts to eat muscle. So that's possibly why, you know, you're struggling to walk and move properly, because you've got, you know, one, you've no energy because your calories aren't high enough, and two, your muscle, you know, muscle wastage. Oh God, she was so thin. But yeah, so, and I got to the point of, oh, do you, Eternal? Right. She's needed it, and I worry about her because she lives on her own. And I must admit, you know, I thought if she gets any worse, I'm gonna have to say to Porky, you know what, I'm gonna have to go and move in with my Auntie Kay and look after her, you know, and because I can't see her on her own, and I know she'd, oh, you know, she'd rather die than go in a nursing home. But yeah, it's just sad, isn't it, when you see people that have been, you know, healthy, active, and all of a sudden she's just aged overnight. The difference in her from Christmas time, because I spent Christmas Day with her, the difference from Christmas to now is unreal. We're only talking not even 5 full months. So anyway, but yeah, I feel your pain, Frida, with, you know, looking after an elderly relative. And yeah, it is the circle of life, Eternal. It is, love. Oh, the poor one was so thin. I used to rub cream into her back as it was so itchy, and she used to say, itchy. Oh, I rubbed it into her back. Old Belfast saying, oh, it made me laugh when she said it, itchy coo. Oh, now you see, a coo up where I come from is a cow. I'm presuming you don't mean to say itchy cow. Oh, so the healing coos. Oh, God love her. It's one of those, isn't it? You just say, I just hope somebody does the same for me when I get old and decrepit and don't know where I am half the time. But I've noticed with my auntie, she hasn't got dementia, but and again, I think it's the lack of energy and the what have you, that she her memory's going, like she's saying things, she's forgetting stuff, she's making stuff up actually, and then she'll laugh and go, oh, I don't know where that came from. We're like, no, neither do I. But again, it's just a sign of age, and you just have to be patient with her. Because my uncle, her brother, was getting quite cross with her and snapping, and I'm like, she can't help it, and it must be really upsetting for her that she's just said something, and we're all looking at her like she's batshit crazy, because we're like, where's that come from? I said, because she's not, you know, she's all there, you know, she's lucid, she's aware when she said something, you know, at the time she thinks it's reality, and then when people who are with her go, what the hell are you talking about? You can see the realization on her face. So I've said to him, you know, you just not, maybe not make a big deal about it when she's saying these things. Just double check, you know, because she said to somebody, oh, I don't know where, she was on about, she didn't know where I was going to be living, seeing as how I wasn't moving in with Porky anymore. And my uncle's like, what? I said, what's she on about? Where's she got that from? And I did say to her, where did you get that? She said, oh, did I say that? I said, you did. She also did tell my niece that I wasn't coming to the wedding. We don't even know why that, but she said, oh no, she can't come to the wedding because one of the horses is sick. And my uncle told me, and I went, she said what? He went, I don't know what's going on with her. I said, maybe she's just thinking things and then they are becoming reality. So yeah, anyway. Anyway, there was our little interlude. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get back to this story. I really will. I will not be distracted now. I'm going to ignore chat for a second. So we'll get back to this Antoinette Brown. I'll go back again. So 2nd of May 2016. I'll start like I haven't done this already. 4:30 a.m. Police arrive at the scene of an horrendous attack. Okay. Witnesses had heard this lady, Antoinette Brown, aged 52, they'd heard her being attacked. There were several calls to 911. It was so bad, people from all around the neighbourhood were ringing and reporting it. And none of them would go outside because they were frightened for their own safety, because they didn't know what was going on. It sounded horrendous. There was snarlings, barkings, screamings. They could hear what sounded like animals fighting. It was just unbelievable. And they were all wide awake, terrified in their own homes. So as I said, nobody saw the attack, but everybody heard him. Okay. Now, people after this started again. Who started the rumour? Don't know. Could it have been police by any chance? But people started saying there were, oh yeah, it was she would have been attacked by this pack of wild dogs that's been, there's been dogs that have been causing a real issue in the neighbourhood. This pack of dogs that are owned by this chap down the road, causing real issues, terrorising people. They'll be what's attacked her. They've been causing problems for months. Blah 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 de blah de blah. But not a single record of reported wild, feral, dangerous, or nuisance dogs was ever made. Right? The police, there's no records with the police of any calls being made prior to this attack or reports about feral dogs, wild dogs, packs of dogs. There was nothing. So all of this saying, oh yeah, it's been reported, there's been a nuisance, yada, yada, yada. No, bollocks. So on the back of this, they then went along to the guy that is being named, and they took 7 dogs. All 7 were seized, and they did DNA testing on these dogs. And this went on. So bear in mind, this is in May. This went on till October. Even before the analysis was back, the DNA analysis, the animal, what is it called? The Department of DAS, Department of Animal Services. They were calling the police, asking, could they destroy these dogs? Could they euthanize them and burn the bodies? Oh, sorry, at 77, my sister's been through hell and back, but remains very strong. Your sister's an absolute warrior, Paul. Good on her. God, I'm always fit as H. Oh, like Eternal Flame said, though, it's circle of life, isn't it? I mean, I lost my mum. I was only a kid. Mum was only 33 when she died, so it's a shame, really. I would have, not that I would have liked to see her go old and infirm, but I would have liked to have had the opportunity to see her get older and have fun with her, and me growing up and, going on girls' nights out and doing what Green Eyes is doing now, having a mum with her and doing things as a family and mum and daughter things. So yeah, I'm very envious of all of you guys. Very envious. Not in a nasty green-eyed way, but oh gosh, green eyes, you know what I mean? But yeah, I am very, very envious of all you got to spend a lot of time with your mums. You're very lucky. Anywho, so the dogs are seized in May. They don't have any resolution to this until October. They have these dogs until October. Go figure that. It was only announced in October that there was no DNA evidence against, on the dogs. They had nothing. They closed the case against the dog's owner, and that was it. Oh, thank you, Green Eyes. Sorry, I wasn't sad fishing then. It just made me think because you're all talking about your mums, lucky buggers. So the dog angle was fake. They tried to pin it on, nothing. Okay. Now, there was also a question was asked as to why no DNA matches could be made. The police declined to answer. They wouldn't talk about it to either the press or Miss Brown's family. So they just don't want to discuss this DNA thing. So this is the bit that I want you ladies who in the medical profession to listen on to, because I'm going to get to it. Right. 9 hours after the attack, detectives were called to the medical centre that they'd taken Miss Brown to, and they wanted to assist with a sexual assault kit for a forensic exam, as Miss Brown had been found missing several pieces of clothing. Right. So apparently the I forget what like a sexual assault nurse. I think they call them is it a sane nurse or something, Paul? If you can enlighten us on that in America. But basically, she's the sexual assault nurse who deals with that. She apparently suspects this lady may have been raped, but they were saying it's because of her missing clothing. And this is what I wanted to check with you guys, the nurses. If you are going to, so if you get somebody who arrives in, say, A&E, for example, we'll use me. I come into A&E and I am covered in bite marks, like animal. Let's say you can see I've been attacked by an animal, and I'm going to go through these injuries in a minute as well, and they weren't just bite marks, but anyway. So you can see that I have been attacked by an animal, and some of my clothing has been removed. Okay, which is typical, isn't it? You know, a dog, say for example, will grab hold of your kecks, like your leg or what have you. Sorry, Paul, kecks are pants. Grab hold of your leg, like rag at your leg and pull your pants off. You know, they come off and what have you. No, Simples. It wouldn't. So, missing clothing does not necessarily, and don't forget, this nurse, this is her specific field of expertise. So what had occurred that she thought that this woman needed to have a rape kit carried out on a rape kit exam? That is as weird as hell. And I was like, okay. To me, there would have to be some other signs other than clothing being missing. Yes, Green Eyes, that's it, exactly. Not just missing clothes. Now, this is even freakier. So that was 9 hours after the attack, okay? And they're called to the hospital. Right. When this attack was going on, Yeah, performing a procedure which isn't necessary. That's it's not a excuse me. It's not a good, let's say, a good use of resources, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's not something that they're just going to, every person who comes in with missing clothing, that they're going to automatically presume that they've been assaulted in a sexual manner. Right, not all injuries are mandatory reportable to the police. Yeah, yeah. So that in itself made me think, what the hell? Now, this is the other weird bit. So that's 9 hours after the attack. 10 hours after the attack, so an hour later than that, they only started to gather evidence from the scene 10 hours after the attack. And it had been raining that night. The field where she was found, because it was like, well, a field, it was like a vacant housing lot. It was slutchy as out. The only way that the forensic team managed to find the actual attack site was because they found her clothing there. So I think they found one Nike shoe. They found a pair of like jogger bottoms. I think that was it. A couple of, I think she had a couple of hair pieces, you know, like clipping hair extensions. That they found a couple of those there as well. But apart from that, the police hadn't taped it off. They'd put no evidence markers down. They'd done nothing to secure that scene. So we're talking, she was found at 4:30 a.m. and it was raining. They can see it's been an horrendous attack, which I'm going to go through now. And they don't. Herpes. Yeah, it's me accenting it. Yes, 2 hair pieces, or 2 pieces of hair. Let's do it that way. So yeah. Oh, you did as well, Eternal. Note to self: learn to enunciate better. Oh gosh. So yeah, 10 hours. An hour after the sexual assault, the rape kit was needed. Oh yeah, see, it's not just me was a dirty man. You're all filth. You're pure filth on this channel. Yeah, so the actual scene of the attack hasn't been cordoned off. There's no tape. There's no officer left there to protect the integrity of the site. It's been pissing down with rain, so it's washing away, you know, any potential DNA evidence is being washed away in this, you know, and it was quite heavy torrential downpour this particular day. Nobody's been kept off the lot, so there's been nobody left there, no tape or anything to stop you know, the locals, the neighbours, from wandering over this vacant lot to have a look at what went on the night before. Absolutely nothing. See where your brain goes with that, because my brain tells me that they made no effort because they didn't see, well, they didn't deem it necessary because maybe they already had an idea what was responsible for the attack. Possibly. What do you think? Hiya, Julia. Hello, love. Oh, we've got a new photo for Julia. You know what I'm like when anyone's got a new photo up, I stick you up on my screen so we can all have a little look. Paul was up for his Native American chap, so we'll put Julia up so we can all have a little sneaky peeky. Because you usually have like a sim face, don't you? Or a cartoon. Oh, is that you? Oh, Julia. Another hot mama here, ladies. Welcome to the channel of beauty. I've only been going for an hour though, Julia, so it's not a lot to catch up on. And it's not going to be a very late one tonight. We're just going through these dogmen cover-ups and a little bit of a general chat, because obviously it's the super moon, blood moon. Actually, did anybody catch the full eclipse? I missed it. I meant to get up and watch it, and I totally missed it. Frida says, I don't know. Sometimes I think the police cover things up. Just my opinion. Yeah, well, I think this is definitely a cover up. It wasn't pink there, but it was bloody huge. Oh, you didn't know either, Mrs. Mercury. Yeah, it was a full lunar eclipse, which is what makes it the blood moon. However, it was also a super moon, and it's the flower moon. And it is nestling in Scorpio at the moment, which, as I said at the start, is a good time for clearing out excess baggage. If you've got anything you need to get said to anybody, get it said. If you need to get rid of people out your life that are no use to you, get rid of them today. It's the perfect time for it. Yeah, it wasn't here, Green Eyes, because it was raining. So it was overcast. I love it when there's a super moon, though. Hey, after this, I'll tell you what actually happened on a super moon. If I don't forget, somebody remind me when I finish this Dogman story. Just mention me super moon story, and I'll tell you what happened. Where was he up to with this? Yeah, so my thoughts were they haven't bothered to protect the integrity of this scene. They didn't bother, or they didn't want to make sure any DNA was found at the scene. I'm not sure, but I just feel, that it's, yeah, that there's definitely a cover up there now. Also, so this was that was on the same day, right? Let's jump forward again to the 17th of May 2016. The detectives there had a discussion by phone with a forensic veterinarian regarding DNA from the victim and what was believed to be, and I'm going to say inverted commas, canine saliva that were discovered on the victim. So, why are they getting a forensic veterinarian involved? Surely they can tell, DNA from the victim, canine saliva. This is stuff that can be identified. Right, life's too short. Just, one day at a time. Absolutely, Frida. Live your best life. So I've not heard on any of the other cases where they've actually got a forensic. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a forensic veterinarian. I don't know if anybody else has ever heard of one, but I haven't. So it just seems, yeah. It's just, again, it's just all very, very, very strange. Now, we're then going to go to the initial report that was made when the sheriff's deputy, do you think it was the man's dogs who did it? How did Dogman get blamed? They did think it was the man's dog. Well, no, they didn't think it was the man's dog. Again, that was a cover-up because they released the dogs back to him. 5 months they kept the dogs for. Why? Why 5 months, you know? They DNA'd the dogs. The Department of Animal Services kept phoning Mither and the police saying, can we destroy these dogs now? Can we destroy these dogs? Even though they had no evidence that these dogs had anything to do with the attack. When they finally admitted the dogs had nothing to do with the attack, you know, because the owner was also, he had the threat of prosecution hanging over his head. Case was dropped against him. The dogs were released back into his custody. No prosecutions were made. And then on the 17th of May, you've got this detective who is speaking to a forensic veterinarian. Go figure. Now, the deputy, this is what he said. He turned up when they found, you know, when she was found, he turned up at the 4:30 a.m. As a result of these 911 calls that were being made. And this is what he said. These are his words. It almost killed her. I have never seen anything like this. Chunks of meat were ripped off of her. Her left leg was gone. Her bicep was missing. The lady was in shock. Well, yeah, you would be, wouldn't you? Now, if you think about any, you know, even a dog cannot do that. A coyote, if there are any coyotes in the area, cannot do that. The jaws aren't big enough or powerful enough. You know, whatever carried this attack out was a very large, very powerful jawed animal. Well, yeah, Julia, they looked at the DNA on the saliva and they weren't dogs. There are some injuries, Mrs. Mercury, absolutely horrendous. And the fact, and the other thing as well, I haven't found, and I need to check this out, if she lived or not. Because obviously she was taken to the medical centre. Even wolves couldn't do it, Mrs. Mercury. I mean, wolves have incredibly powerful jaws, but they haven't got the, you know, they're not able to open the mouths to that extent to do that kind of. I mean, have you ever seen wolves when they attack, you know, if they attack deer or caribou or what have you? If you ever watch these wildlife programs, isn't it Simples? And the fact that it was missing, and I can't find any detail to say, well, it was there. You know, it was just ripped off and was there. It sounds as though it was ripped off and carried off. Oh, what's this from Fried? Julia, are you going to come up on panel again? And your son was an interesting live, no pressure, of course. Green Eyes, I wish they would, Frieda. I found them both enthralling listening to them. Well, yes. At any time at all, if Julia, if you're there and you know, whenever's good for you, because I know we've discussed it before, because also Burham Witch as well. And Jules Kitch is sending me over her story because she wants me to read it out. It's a huge jaw, Paul. And yeah, I'd be surprised if she lived that, but stranger things happened. Julie, there would be a database to compare, if not of this world, not on the list, cover it up. Yeah. Yeah. They always do this. And the other thing they do as well, luckily they didn't do it this time. The dogs were vindicated and released back to their owner. But the other things that they've tended to do with some of these is where they have found stray dogs, with no evidence that they've been responsible for attacks, they euthanize them and burn them before any DNA evidence is gathered, as if they can say, oh yeah, we found those responsible, but yeah, we've already got rid of them. It's just this whole, very, very lax investigation, incredibly lax. So I want to do with this one, I want to do a bit more digging on this Antoinette Brown, because I find it quite fascinating. I'm pretty sure if I go trolling around a lot of different websites, I will find something. I mean, it's a 6-year-old case now. The only other thing to do would be to try and see if I can find some paperwork from Dallas Police Department. No simples, don't know at all. I mean, that time of the morning, it's not going to be particularly light. And obviously, 4:30 was when she was found. This attack had been going on before that. Julian, my son's been poorly, think it's the vaccine. Oh, bless him. Oh, well, he's got my sympathy. I was rotten for, a good 9 days. Not off the vaccine, though. I'm like a non-vaxxed person. Oh, I hope he gets better soon. But if he's, when he's feeling up to it, or if you want to come up, Julia, without him on another day, that'd be really good. Because as you can see, everybody loved your stories. They were really interesting, especially if we can get you up with Burren Witch again. So yeah, so that is, there are 3 little stories. And well, they're not even stories, are they? Are 3 little factual tales about potential dogmen attacks. And these are going, I mean, look at how many there've been. There was the one I started off just mentioning, to for Eternal Flame, who's obviously missed all our dogman stuff. So we had that Nancy Shaw in Georgia. Then do you remember we had Brenda Hamilton, the teacher? Then we had the 2 who were found days apart. Oh no, it was weeks apart, wasn't it? The man, and then was it the other way around? I think it was the woman first and then the man, who were found in exactly the same spot on the road a couple of weeks apart, also killed by unknown animals. I think that was Monroe County. Then we've got Corey Godsey, the 13-year-old boy, and he was dragged from the back garden of his home. His family witnessed this. He was dragged up the side of the mountain. Oh, you've watched Dogmen Encounters. Oh, what did you think, Eternal Flame? Did you watch the one with Brandon in it, Brandon Close? Because his encounters are so scary. Bat just went to grab another coffee. Oh, get you. It's great, isn't it? I love listening to them because you don't have to have your eyes open either. Just lie in bed. Vaccine does have a bad effect on some people, unfortunately. Oh, I know. That's why I've stayed away. Oh, brilliant, Julia. Okay, when it matches, I will. Oh, that's great. And we need to get that bloody Green Eyes one up as well, because she's got a ghosty story. And didn't you have one, Frida? And obviously, Eternal Flame. If you anybody, everybody is welcome to come up at any time. Yeah, Eternal Flame. I think he's done 3. Have you just listened to the 1 episode or all 3? Because if you put a search in, because he's got I think it was a werewolf. Then he's got, I think it's called The Trouble with Dogmen. There's either 3 or 4 episodes, and they're brilliant, but they're really traumatic, and it goes into the full detail. I'll tell you the only thing I want to get rid of. Oh, excuse me, Frida. Oh, is this fatigue, from me being poorly. And I keep hearing about people when they've had COVID, especially these more more recent variants. Is this horrendous tiredness, and I'm really struggling. I'll admit it. And this isn't like me at all. I just can't be ghost story was crap. It wasn't crap, Frida. It wasn't crap at all. Oh, you like the gory bits, do you? Oh, you sicko, eternal flame. My mum's had 4 vaccines, a flu, and pneumonia. Wonder she's not bloody glowing. Well, at least she's not going to catch out green eyes. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. Oh, so he's on meds now. Oh, that's good to hear, Julia. No, I think your story was great, Frida. And I'm sure you've got others. I mean, I like hearing the second-hand ones. Oh, right, I've just reminded myself. Seeing as how none of you lot did. Oh, what's that? What's the link for there, Mrs. M? I'm sure mine was the same case. Headache, dizziness, vomiting and lethargy. It's hard to shake. Yeah, I didn't vomit green eyes, but mine was, my throat was sore, horrendously so. Is this the one for Antoinette Brown, Mrs. Mercury? Wow. Because they were saying here that they actually released the dogs. There were other dogs were euthanized for different cases, but yeah, the report had actually said that the dogs that were seized for Antoinette Brown were released. Oh, bum. Oh, that's awful. Oh, well, obviously I need to look into this a bit more then, because like I said, the report that I've got was saying that they were. Oh, she did die, right? The thing is, I mean, those injuries were so bad. But imagine that you're sitting in your homes and you are hearing that going on, and I mean, I would be eaten up with guilt if I could hear somebody being attacked like that, and I was too scared to go outside, and hearing them basically being murdered. I just, it's different hearing an attack, like a person attacking, but when it's something like that you think is an animal or a creature of some sort, yeah. But yeah, sorry, green eyes. Yeah, I didn't have the vomiting. I had the headache. Amika and Lies. Is that Joe? But hello and welcome. Oh, she was homeless. Oh no. Oh, it's Burham Witch. Oh, flipping heck. Yeah, do you know, I've tried to put your picture up. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, she was homeless. Oh my goodness. How are you feeling, Burren? They throw me with these when you have your little name changes. No, it's, well, I was testing green eyes and it was negative, and oh, sorry, just I'm missing all the chat here. Thing is, army veteran. Yeah, she was 52. 52's no age, is it? You're still a young wench at 52. she would know how to defend herself. She would know how to fight. She must have been living in a car. Oh, no. Yeah, thanks, Mrs. Mercury, for checking that out. My eyes are in bits, so I'll be listening. Not a problem, Burren. Lovely to see you in here. We're just having a discussion. We've been talking about, well, we've only been going for just over an hour, if you wanted to play back. But yeah, I've just covered 3 of the cases that are a bit of cover-ups, these dogmen cases, because obviously with it being the blood moon, super moon, flower moon, I thought we've got to do dogmen. So I've been chatting to Julia. Her son has had COVID, but when you're feeling up to it, and we can get you and Julia to come up again, because yeah, everybody's been on about it in chat a little earlier. So yeah, we'll keep in touch. Drop me a text or something, or a WhatsApp when you're feeling up to it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you my supermoon story. This was weird. So as you all know, I'm a bit of a pagan. So I'm not a Wiccan. I am, it's Norse paganism that I follow. That's my path. Was brought up a Catholic. Still, you're always a Catholic till the day you die. It's a bit weird, really. I like following the old religion. However, yeah, I've still got that Catholicism, or that Catholic streak. That's never going to go away. But I like to regard nature and yeah, just that side of things. The spiritual goddess, earth. Yeah. Oh, I can fill you guys in on another investigation in another castle. Me too. Oh, brilliant. Oh, fantastic. Yeah, you absolutely. When you feel up to that, Burren, let me know. Let me know, and then I'll schedule it in, because that'll be brilliant. So I was with my friend, and she'd been single for quite a while. She'd had a pretty traumatic ending to a marriage. Her, not like Henry VIII, he chopped and changed. Yeah. That's right. Well, he died a Catholic, didn't he? He never relinquished his Catholicism, did he not? But no, it's just one of those, isn't it? It's there, and yeah, and I'll still say prayers occasionally, but I do like I do like the Norse paganism, so I followed that for the most part. So I'd gone to visit my friend. Now, as I said, she was having a bit of a rough deal. Her now ex-husband had left her for another woman, left her with 2 little ones. She didn't work because she was suffering from ill health. She's one of my friends who she'd just been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Only young. She'd lost the sight, and it hit her really. She'd got the same as my mum, primary progressive. So it hit her really hard. She lost her eyesight. She went blind for quite a while, actually. Yeah, she was just not having a good time, and she'd moved back down from Scotland up to North Lancashire. So I went over to spend the evening with her. I took my old dog. It's the days before Cooper. I had my old dog Murph. We went over for the night. Said we'll have a few drinks, get a takeaway. I'd taken her a load of shopping over because she couldn't get any benefits from they were just being right arsehole. She ended up taking him to court anyway, but that's another story. So she had nothing. So I took her a load of shopping over, boxes of food and tins and packets and everything that I could think of. I bought us a takeaway that night. So there's me, her, and the 2 kids. And I got a load of alcohol in, so we were on the Pims. Yes, that's right. Friedrich was on his deathbed. He was a Catholic. He didn't want to go to heaven or hell without being a Catholic. So yeah, he never changed. So I'm over there at her house, and she's telling me that she's been on an internet site, dating site, and that she's been chatting to this bloke, and she doesn't know whether he's interested or not, and you know, da 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 da. And I mean, she's been split up from her husband for a while now, you know, a good while. So I think he'd left her. I think she'd been on her own for 6 months in Scotland, and then she'd come down to England. So she'd probably been on her own about 7 months at this point. And she'd been chatting to this chap online. And I think, I'm saying online, I don't even think it was a dating site. I think she'd started chatting to him on Facebook, or somehow on Facebook. Anyway, she's chatting away to this fella. She's quite interested in him. He's a vet. And she's like me, horsey lass. So she's telling, you know, and it's this, that, and the other, and he's got horses and whatever. Really nice. She said, I really, really like him. Really like him. I'm like, do you? She said, yeah. She said, I've fallen. I'm in love with him. So I'm like, right. Well, you know, when you know, you know. Not going to poo-poo it. I'm like, are you sure? Because you know, it's not just you. You've got the kiddies now, the little uns. You can't. You know, it isn't just you on your own. You have to, you know, properly vet anybody who is going to come into your lives. Oh, so is Burren leaving, Freed? Rather miss something. Oh no, she's saying no, she's saying the antibiotics have to go in now, so I won't be able to see anything. Not, she's not going now. Yeah, I gathered that, Burren. She's I think Frida just misread. Yeah. So anyway, so we're having this full-on conversation about this chap, and he does seem, on paper, he seems like a really nice guy. And it was the supermoon that night. So I said to her that, because she started talking about, you know, paganism and Wicca and so on. And I said, I don't know anything about that, but the paganism side of stuff, yes, I do. And I suppose, you know, it all comes from a similar place. And she was like, you know, do you know any love spells? I said, well, I don't, you know, you don't do love spells. I said, you ask the universe for things, or, you know, if that's what you believe, or, you know, you don't, I said, with the Norse gods, you don't beg them for anything. I said, it's one religion where you don't ever kneel in front of your gods, you stand as equals with them. I said, so, you know, you can make offerings to them in the hope that they will help you out. I said, but you don't go begging them for anything. I said, but you know, it's the full moon, it's a super moon. I said, so if you want him that much, I said, make the offering to the moon, and you know, and the universe, and see what, because I'd looked into that as well. It wasn't something I believed in, but I thought that's probably more her kettle of fish. So one of these, it's not a spell, it was kind of a wish that you would make on the supermoon. And I don't know, Burren, you may be familiar with this, but it was to make an offering of coins for love. And while we're back in her house, and I'm looking up on, you know, I went onto Google on my phone. I'm like, yeah, it's here. I said, if you, you know, you're looking to basically entice somebody into, you know, a loving relationship with you, you know, swing them in your direction. I said, it's not a love spell as such, but this is what you do. And you basically took a handful of coins. So it could be anything. So we had, like, I think I went in my purse, and I had like pennies and 5p's and what have you. And you basically were to look at the full moon, and look, it was a lovely clear night that night as well. Look at the moon, think your thoughts, you know, the fact, think about this person, visualize them, in your mind's eye. Visualize them being with you, wanting to be with you. Visualize them thinking about you. And as you do all of this, you throw the coins at the moon. So you just throw them and you leave them where they land. And so this was, I mean, there was a little bit more to it than that, but that was basically this spell. So she decided she wanted to do this love spell cast, whatever you want to call it. She decided she wanted to do it. And I'm saying to her, Jo, be careful what you wish for. Be very careful what you wish for, because you know you don't know this guy. You've not been chatting to him that long. And no, I know how I feel. I went, right, okay, nothing to do with me. Crack on. So out she goes and does her incantations and her visualizations, and she throws her coins and she makes her offering, and she comes back in the house. Right, end of. We have our drink, we have our takeaway, and we have a nice evening, and we forget all about it. And the next day, we took the dogs out a walk, went for some lunch, and then because these two children of hers are my godchildren, gave them a bit of a treat, and then I came home. And then over the course of the next 5 or 6 days, this relationship went from, you know, where they weren't ringing or speaking to each other every day up to the point I went over there. They were, maybe she might send him a text message and he might reply to her the next day or the day after that. And then he might ring her and then not speak to her for days on end. Okay. The day after I got home, she said it was weird. He's texting and ringing her every single day. And then he's over at her house every day. And he doesn't live close. He lives over in North Yorkshire. She lives in Lancashire. He lived over near Ripon. So and Harrogate, that kind of direction. So it wasn't just a stone's throw. So yeah, so this started happening. So he's there all the time, ringing, texting, turning up, taking her out, treating her. Was made up with the kids. Apparently he was divorced, I think he had 2 kids. You know, really into it, paying for him to go on holidays. They went skiing, they did all sorts of stuff. And then he asked her to move in with him. And this was like full on. I'm like, and I didn't even think about this whole spell thing. Didn't think about it at all. And I'm just thinking, you know, at last something good is going, you know, it's going to happen for her. Things are going well because she deserves it, because she's a cracking person. You know, the kids deserve a good life. Her ex-husband was a wanker. You know, they really were put through the mill. She's finally found someone who treats her the way she deserves to be treated. And then they moved in together. So they got this house, they got a farm, they've got the horses, they've got the dogs. They're just having a great time. And I'm thinking everything's going to go really, really well, until it didn't. They hadn't even been living together a year. And because my dog died in the July, and I went over there because I just rang her up. I said, I need to get away from here. I cannot stay in this house without Murph. It's killing me. So I went and drove over there, and I stayed with them at the farm for a week. And then I came back. Well, it wasn't quite a week. It was 5 days. And I came home. And the day I came home, Cooper's litter had been advertised. So I went and bought him. So I managed all of 5 days without a dog. Anyway, that's another story in itself. But while I was there, I don't know, you know, when you get, because this is the first time I'd met the guy, the vibe I got off him, and I am quite astute with people, for, let's say, for want of a better word, bad juju. And green eyes, yeah, Murph or Smurf, but yeah, he got called Murphy. I'll have to show you a picture of him sometime. He was just the best dog ever. Sorry, Coops, but he was. Loved him. I had 14 years with that dog. He was the best. So yeah, I was getting this real vibe off this guy. Sinister. And she wasn't, she hasn't picked up on anything like this, but the way he was, how shall I say it? I don't want this to sound conceited, because, you all know me by now. I'm not up my own arse. I don't think I'm anything special, but the guy was, I don't know, the way he was talking to me, and the way he didn't, there was no physical contact, like giving me hugs or anything, but when you just get the impression that somebody is being a bit of a sleaze, the way he was looking me up and down, or if I walked past, he was like, physically turning his head, watching me walking past him. Yeah, yeah, Eternal Flame, a lech, but not. It was weird. And he didn't want me spending any time with Jo on her own either. We'd go out and he'd turn up. Yeah, mannerisms. That's it. That's it, exactly. It was just, it was just weird. So obviously I'd gone to spend time with her, and what? Burren. Yeah, the way he moved, it was kind of, yeah, it was just, why did you visualize it then? It was just like do you know what it reminded me of? A snake. That slithery, turny. All right. Oh, okay. Don't worry. Oh, don't be typing, sweetheart. You're gonna make yourself feel. Yeah. Yeah, but this was weird, Frida. This was sinister. There was a blackness to him, and I can't even describe it. I didn't want to leave her. He didn't want her with anyone else, Eternal Flame, but it was more than that. Even to this day, I cannot describe it. He had a blackness around him. But he was really, he was being really good to her. He was being really good to the kids. And I had this awful, it was a feeling in the pit of my stomach. The minute I met him, because when I turned up at the farm, he wasn't there. He was out because he was a vet. He was out doing his calls. So it was just her and the kids. And we were, we sat outside. We had a Pims in the garden and what have you. And when the minute he rocked up, and she's like, "Oh, this is oh yeah, fuck him. I'm going to give his name. I don't give a shit. He's a twat. Richard. This is Richard." And I obviously went to shake his hand, and it was like, and I didn't get an electric shock, but it was as though I'd got an electric shock. If you see, I really didn't want my hand in his. And I thought it was, maybe it's just me feeling a little bit hypersensitive. No, not at all. It was, oh, you can tell by people's eyes. Yeah, Burren, the mask. Yeah. And he was wearing a mask. So I stayed there for these 5 days and I came home. This was in the July, right? And then, now bear in mind, Jo was one of my best friends. I'm godmother to both the children. We've known each other for years. Horse rode together, everything. And, both our exes were friends. And I didn't hear from her. She just went dark, like dark. I didn't hear from her. And, I'd be ringing her up. And whenever I rang her, he was always around, always there. And she's like, "Oh, he's working from home." Or like, "Is a vet, how's he working from home?" "Oh, yeah, he's just decided he's going to stay at home and do his paperwork today." And I'd go, "Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I'll not ring you now. How about I ring you later on?" And then it was things like, "Oh, I'll not be able to talk because I've got to get his tea ready. I'll not be able to talk because he's going to be eating. I'll not be able." And I'm thinking, is he starting to manipulate her? And then it went very quiet until December. So I got a phone call from her, and I knew there was something wrong straight away. And I was like, "What's going on?" And she started telling me about some of the things that were happening. with him. I'll not say, yeah, manipulate. Yes, it was coercive behaviour, Green Eyes, and a lot of gaslighting, Eternal Flame. Awful. But it gets worse. So I'm not going to go into what he was doing to her, but let's just say that when she told me, I was on the verge of getting in my car and driving for an hour and a half to knock the fuck out of him. And I was like, mate, you got to get out. She's like, well, where do we go? She said, I've got no money. I said, here, I have a spare room here. I said, I can get, the kids can be sorted out. I said, until, because at the time I was in a different house. I had a big lounge. And I said, and a spare room. I said, we can sort it out. Don't worry about it. I said, the kids, they can have one bedroom between them. You can have the other bedroom. I'll sleep on the damn sofa. It's fine. I said, but get out of there. And she's like, I know, but he might change. No, he won't. He's an arsehole. I said, mate, seriously. I said, if he does anything to you again, if he says anything like this, if he does anything like this, you ring me. You ring me. And I will be over there. I will come and I will pick you up. I said, because he won't start with me. So she's like, yeah, I'll be all right, mate. I'll be all right. And making coercive behaviour a chargeable offence in Australia after all the domestic violence that's been going on. Well, they were, yeah. I'll wait on that for a minute because I'll end up giving the story away. Yeah, do you know what, Frida? The eyes definitely are the windows to the soul. Although if you look at mine on the screen, they're like piss holes in the snow, mine are. And I'm just looking, Burham Witches. If you look at Burham Witch's eyes on her photo, she looks like someone's just told her the dirtiest joke ever and she's trying her best not to laugh. So that's they're naughty eyes. Yeah, so this is what's gone on, and I'm really worried about her at this point. And a couple of days later, I get another phone call. Only this time, she is in hysterics. And I'm like, mate, tell me what's going on. This was in the afternoon, about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. She had just got home from the hospital and he was in the NIC. And he had held her and the 2 kids, and this is in the middle of winter, December. He had held her and the 2 children hostage for 7.5 hours in the farmhouse. He had poured, and this was all because she said she didn't like him doing a certain thing to her, that I had said to her, do not let this bastard do what he's doing. You get him told. And when she objected and he was throwing the whole, well, if you don't like it, fuck off, she went, okay. At that point, he flipped. He poured, well, it was aftershave, actually. Aftershave over the 5-year-old, over little one, and saying to her, and he had a lighter as well, going, do you know what happens if a flame goes onto perfume? Do you know what, stuff like that. He battered her. He battered my godson, who was 12 at the time. No, he wasn't. He was 11. Battered him. She ended up finally escape. He tried to burn the farmhouse down with a minute. She managed to escape. I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning. They're in the 90s. Yeah. It's freezing cold out. They've got no shoes on. My goddaughter is in a little nightie. She's 5. My godson, who is 11, he's in a pair of thin pajamas. My mate Jo is in a nightie. She's not even got a dressing gown on. They managed to get out of the front of the farmhouse. They ran up the lane. They're half a mile from the nearest house. The pitch black in snow. And they got to the nearest neighbour, and that's when they ended up getting the police. And this continued. Even so, he's been to court twice. He was suspended. They didn't strike him off as a vet, though. They suspended him. I think he got a 6-month suspension. She had to be moved for her own protection. The police had to move her, keep her location hidden because they were convinced that he was going to kill her. They had to put a fireproof letterbox in. She has panic alarms in the house because he's still, and this is now, how many years? Is this 3 years? Hang on a minute, 4 years. So in December, it will be 4. So it was just 3 years has just gone by since this happened. And he's still obsessed with her, still obsessed, still trying to get in touch. I mean, he's not found out where she lives. He kind of knows more or less where she lives. But this is the thing is, Frida, this is a professional. I tell you what, you should have heard what Green Eyes, listen, when I found out what had happened, he was and like I said, I don't give a shit. Richard fucking Sutcliffe. Have this, you bastard. He is the vet for the racecourse, York Races, and is it Ripon? But he's the official vet. So I started putting when I had my big Twitter account, I was tweeting the race courses. I was tweeting the local reporters who cover racing, like Racing Times and so on. And I did actually get one, and I said, you need to look into this. I said, this guy who is the official vet for the race courses has been done for assault on a minor. He has been arrested. He has been suspended. He's done all of it. Oh, I was proper after getting him. I really was. So like I said, so there you go. So anybody wanting to look up Richard Sutcliffe, and isn't it funny, he's got the same name as well. So I'm not saying anything that isn't already in the public domain. I really don't give a shit. However, we were talking to a friend of mine who is a Wiccan. And after all of this had gone on, and I can't remember how it came up because I'd totally forgotten about it. And she was talking about spell, and I said, oh yeah, I remember my friend doing a spell one time, blah, 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 blah. And I went, oh my goodness. And she said, that needs to be broken. She said, he is going to be attached to her forever unless that attachment is severed. She said, that has been somebody not knowing what they're doing, messing around with magic. And she said, when you'd said to her, be careful what you wish for, she said, never a truer word spoken. She said she's wished for him and she's stuck with him. So, no, Julia, he didn't. Can you figure that? Because when they'd been to court twice. When they were in court, now, get this. So one of his daughters won't have anything to do with him. The ex-wife, I think, wanted him back all the time. Just Googled him, he tried to inject him with. Yes, he did. Green eyes. He did. He's awful what he did to her. Awful. I don't think they've given her. Have they given her details on the site? But yeah. Fucking bastard. Pardon my French, ladies and gents. And yeah, so whenever I hear people saying that they want to mess around with magic or what have you, that's my go-to story. Oh, Paulie, honestly, Google him. But yeah, all he got was a suspension from the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. He should have been struck off. She also knew of things that he had done that were not ethical, that should have got him struck off, but they didn't want to know. And when they went to court, they had his ex-wife who knew he was an arsehole. Richard Sutcliffe, eternal flame, like Peter Sutcliffe. Oh, absolutely, he'll do it again, Julia. Absolutely, he'll do it again. He was being overtly. Oh no, no, I'm not going to say that because they're my godchildren. So yeah, but yeah, he should have gone to prison. I mean, who in the right mind? So he battered a child. He battered her. She had lumps of her. This is a woman with multiple sclerosis. She had chunks of her missing. He'd beaten her. One of the police officers who came out, you know, when they managed to run up the lane to the farmhouse up the road and get help. And like I said, this is in the early hours of the morning, in the snow, in the night wear. They're freezing to death. They got up to they got the police to come out. The police officer who came out had said to her he'd never seen a domestic violence case like it. Oh, it's because he lived near Ripon. Oh, are the green eyes? I've not googled him because he's a horrible little twat. But yeah, I didn't actually intend to it going into a full-on bashing session, but I'm glad it has now because he deserves it. But yeah, it was just going to be my story about the supermoon and people messing with magic when they don't know what they're doing. I suppose it's like people messing around with Ouija boards when they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, no, Burren, that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. He was trying to inject her with, well, he did all sorts of things. Some of the stuff they don't even know. Yeah, like you say, Mrs. Mercury, you've got to be very careful what you wish for. He absolutely, he did. Absolutely, he did, Burren. Only she had no evidence apart from trying to kill her by burning the farmhouse down. Only he tried to burn some tissues, and I think they were damp and didn't catch. And that's when they made their escape. But, and pouring perfume, they'll have access to every drug known to man. Yeah, he did. Eternal Flame, he did. And if you read, no, because the thing is, what happened then, when he did that, Burren Witch, was when they were still together. You know, when I said she'd rung me up like 2 or 3 months earlier, telling me about things he was doing, and I was kicking off and going, I'll get in that fucking car and I'll come over there and get you myself. Yeah. So by the time all of this had gone on, there was nothing left in the bloodstream. Yeah. And I'm not doing this to try and humiliate her because I don't want to. But I mean, she knew damn well. She knew when I put it all over Twitter, I was just absolutely laying into him on there. I let everybody know, and then she opened an account and came on commenting. Oh God, I had thousands of people going after him. I'm just amazed that he didn't. Oh no, did he knock her out? I'll not answer that one, Burren. I think between you and I, we can kind of, yeah. Yeah, there's some things I don't want to put in. I don't want to talk about, but yeah. So yeah, there we go. And I'm always very, very careful with anything. No, it's okay, Burren. I'm gathering that because I know that you were you were going with. I could see by what you were asking, it was things that were coming to you rather than things that I was saying. So yeah, no, I'm fully with that. Yes, Eternal Flame. And do you know what else as well? This is what she found, right? Because obviously when he was arrested and she and the kids went back to the farmhouse before they were moved off, she found this list in his side of the bed because she was getting stuff, to give to the police, like his underwear and what have you, to say, there, get him and get him gone so he doesn't have to come back in for anything. And she found a list there. And I mean, this was I forget how old he was at the time. He was about 50, I think. I know he was a lot older than her. He had a list, and it was like on how Richard scores sexually. So he had things like, missionary position, size of me dick, and things that like a 13, 14-year-old boy would have written. He just had this, and it was like ticks, and he was scoring himself on it. It was the weirdest, because when she told me, and I went, what? She's like, mate, here. And she took a photo of it and showed it. I was just like, are you kidding me? I wish I still had that photograph, actually, because I'd share it. But you get someone that treats her well in the future, the kids get over it. It's just something that you've just got to be so careful, haven't you? I mean, and she's very much like me in the fact that I take everybody on face value. You don't look to see that there's any form of a devious nature with people. And, she's just taken this guy at face value. And yeah, initially he seemed like the ideal boyfriend. He not only was besotted with her, but he loved her kids. He was, a very wealthy guy. He could give her a good lifestyle. He didn't want her to work. I mean, she did end up working with him in his practice, but not now, Eternal Flame. No. And that's not, I see, this is something very weird has happened. And I initially thought that it was, because I thought, please God, dude, yeah, he was green eyes, absolute wanker. Yeah, I thought, Eternal Flame, please God, that she hasn't reconnected with him. I can't see her having done it because of everything that she went through and a being, I mean, she was put through the mill in court. She was put through the mill when she went and gave evidence to the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. I mean, she'd been to court twice as well. But all of a sudden, she's just vanished. And I don't know where. No phone, no address, no... I can't find her on Facebook, so I don't know. And this is someone I've been friends with for a long time, and nobody knows where she's gone. So I don't know whether she's gone into hiding. I really don't. I wouldn't have thought that she would, because with the kids, and like I said, me and her, we've been through a lot together. So yeah. But I thought, it's... Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, her family does know where she is. It's just that I've got no contact with her and I don't know why. But that's why I thought at first, I was thinking, don't tell me she's got back with him. No, she can't have, and that's why she's maybe feeling ashamed to speak to me. Or I think more likely, maybe she might have met somebody and just decided that I might be sitting in judgment on her. Although, I would like to think not, because we've just been good friends. We're the type of friends that could always tell each other everything. She's got her reasons, so I'm just thinking, let her get on with it. It could be because don't forget, I absolutely laid into him publicly for months. And, she was getting it not just from him, she was getting it from his ex-wife. She was getting it from some of his customers who kind of thought that, believed him really. She was this terrible woman who was putting all this shit on him. He's a very good liar, very convincing liar. I hope I see him at some point. I might even engineer it that I can be at one of the races that he's at as course vet. Because, and I don't care, you would have to pin me to the ground to stop me giving it him. And I think for that reason, Porky will probably never ever never accompany me, because I would give him the biggest tongue lashing ever. I'd humiliate him, and I wouldn't care if I showed myself up doing it. Yeah, absolutely vile, Paul. Absolutely vile. Why did he leave the ex alone? Unless she didn't say anything. Don't know. I think she still wanted him back, the ex. But I think that was more a case of, oh, do you? Oh, look out for him, Eternal Flame. He's a little short-arsed, ugly ginger vet. You can bump into him and go, hey, Jackie says hello, you wanker. Yes, he did hurt her very badly, Eternal Flame. Oh, my friend, not his ex-wife. My friend. Yes, Burren Witch, that's what she wanted, the lifestyle. The big fancy house, the going to the balls, the being, rubbing shoulders with the mayor, rubbing shoulders with the local hunts, universities, all the rest of it. I think they had a spell on telly at one point. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't think he did with his ex-wife. This was why people were saying it was totally out of character for him. And she even knowing that ex-wife, and this is what I couldn't understand, even with a bit of animosity, and Joe had nothing to do with their relationship breaking up. They'd broken up before she met him. So that's nothing to do with it. But as a woman, knowing that and I know this would never happen. Say it was me and Porky, okay, and he has never, he would never lay a hand on me. He just wouldn't do it. But say we split up and he went off with somebody else, and then she was accusing him of battering her and battering her kids and doing all this lot. And then I hear that he's been arrested. Not only has he been arrested, the police have evidence that he has battered this woman, battered the children, tried to burn the house down, held them hostage for 7 hours, was giving her all sorts of drugs against her will. I mean, by drugs, I'm talking, like painkillers and so on, things like that, not heroin. If all of this had come to light and then he's ended up in court and says, will you come as a character witness for me? I'd be like, fuck off. Character witness, fuck off. If you've done this to a woman and her children, you're not the person I thought you were. There's the door, jog on. Yeah, green eyes. That's what's wrong these days. Women don't stick up for other women. Just look at Dot the Arswipe. Exactly. They hide a lot behind closed doors, Julie. Yes. Eternal Flame. I bet he's been with prostitutes doing his weird stuff, or mistresses. Yes, Eternal Flame. That was something else she found out as well. That this was while they were still together, because she'd rung me up about. She was a bit upset. She had rung me up about it and found out that this friend, shall we say, of his, who used to come over to theirs quite a lot, had been his mistress for donkey's years. So go figure. And apparently I think the wife knew about it. So, Hiya, Paula. Don't ever apologise. It's just lovely to see you, even if it's only for a sec. We're just talking about a crazy guy that my friend used to be with, and we've been talking about dogmen, sussing me up. Yeah, I think I wouldn't have peed on him if he was burning, even if he wasn't with my friend. It was just, I can't even describe. I mean, obviously, don't type Burren Witch. I know that you're struggling to see, but Burren Witch will probably understand this when I'm saying I could see blackness on him. It was, and I've never felt like that with anybody else. You get a feeling that somebody's not quite right, or there's something a bit shady, but him, it was like there was darkness oozing out of him. Yeah, maybe like a dark aura, Eternal Flame. I don't know. Oh, okay, Paula, no problem. Well, we've only been going. It's only 2 hours, so but yeah, the dogmen stories were quite interesting. Just some more some more cover-ups. My friend through and tried to. His own mother got away with all of them in court, but God stepped in. He got blood clots, lost an arm, then died at 32. Right. Well, it's like you say, Julia. Karma does catch up, doesn't it? That's dreadful. Absolutely awful. Yeah, it is green eyes, especially when you can't put your finger on it. And the thing is, when you're trying to be, because obviously I didn't know what was going on at the time behind closed doors, but when it's a good friend who is obviously having or appears to be having an incredibly happy life and a good life, and the kids are enjoying themselves, and then you don't like them, it's like you're being a bit churlish, you know. So I didn't want to say anything until she told me of the stuff that was going on. Then I had plenty to say. Because I went down to the police station, and I gave oh God, I was there for hours giving a statement about stuff I'd witnessed. I had to go to my local one. They were supposed to be coming over from Harrogate and couldn't. So one of the coppers at the local police station in Chorley, he took my statement down to then send back over to Harrogate. But yeah, absolute arsehole. So he's someone I hope has a, you know, and I don't curse people. I was talking about this with Porky's daughter the other day. She didn't, but a friend of mine did. The friend, you know, and I was saying I was talking to a friend of mine who was a Wiccan, and we just, for whatever reason, I just happened to mention it, and she was like, "Oh shit." Yes, green eyes, the rule of three. Well, you know what? Yeah, yeah, Burren. And do you know what I do? If I've ever felt the need to want to curse anybody, I don't do it like that. I would do say, we'll have Joe Blogs. So Joe Blogs is being an evil, nasty, awful, horrible bastard about me, and making my life a misery by stirring up shit. So the way I would do it would be that as long as Joe Blogs, if he continues to lie about me or stir shit about me, then this will happen to him, or this will happen or continue to happen to him as long as he continues to lie about me. That's the way I would do it. I just wouldn't go outright and go, I'm going to curse Joe Blogs with the shits or something. I did used to curse people with piles though. But again, only if they do this, they're going to get piles. So yeah, so that's been our little bit of drama for tonight. Jog on. Um, I, well, I know it's an English saying, Paul, but I don't know where it originated. It became very popular. I mean, I'd heard it before, but it became very popular on the film Hot Fuzz. They said it a lot, and a lot of people started saying it after that. But actually, you might be right, because my friend T used to say jog on a lot, and she's from London. But it used to be jog the fuck on. I don't know. Does anybody else know? I loved that film too, Green. I still do. I seem to turn into somebody from that film. You know, when I fall asleep, it's really funny. I'll have to get him to show you and mimic me. If I fall asleep when watching the telly or something, and Porky will wake me up, he'll go, "You asleep?" And I'll go, "No." You know, like this, like they talk. No. Jog on, piss off. Yeah. It was like a politer way of saying F off, wasn't it? But yeah, it became very popular with that. Well, what do you fancy doing for Wednesday? Because for those of you who've only just come in or came in late, I'm going to try and get myself back on onto Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Oh, do the Eternal Flame. Oh, I've not heard it used as buy. It's like a get lost, really. You know, like Fried said, piss off, F off, jog on, get lost. Yeah, do one, jog on. Oh, do you want me to do Travis Walton? I can't remember. Have I done Travis Walton? Obviously not in the biblical sense. I can't remember with that one. Because I was also saying, I think just before you came in, Green Eyes, I was gonna. Oh no, you were in, weren't you? I was gonna do one on Skinwalker. But glad it's Wednesday, girly night with my daughter. You're gonna. Oh, you'll miss us then, won't you, Frida? Unless she listens in as well. But yeah, I'm thinking that came on my recommendations today. Oh, what did Travis Walton or Skinwalker Eternal Flame? Agrees. Oh yes, Skinwalker. I love watching that program. Yeah. So, well, how about I do either? Let's see. Do a little vote for the few of you that's in here. Either Skinwalker or Travis Walton, which is the alien abduction. It's actually the best documented alien abduction case. The guy's still alive, and there's a lot of information out about him. For those of you who don't know who he is, and Skinwalker Ranch is Boroughwich. Travis Walton. It was back in the 70s. He was part of a logging crew in America. And while they were coming back down the mountain at night, they saw what's it called? Basically it turned out it was an alien craft. He got out, went to investigate it, ended up dropping to the floor. They thought he was dead. He was hit by a beam of something, and they just peeled off and left him. They then realized, shit, we need to go back. We can't leave. And when they went back, his body wasn't there. He was missing for days, and then he reappeared with the story of his abduction. So it's very interesting. Okay, sorry, but I've girly night tomorrow. Oh, okay, Frida. Oh, even better. So yeah, but in a nutshell, that's Travis Walton. Green Eyes. I certainly think there is some sort of portal at Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, I think with, do you know which did me? That were apparently those big wolves jumped down into a hole, but the hole was too little. There's no way they would have fit through. That to me was as though they were jumping into a portal, because you've got the skinwalkers there, you've got shapeshifters, you've got ghostly activity, there's alien activity, there are dogmen on site, there are the cattle mutilations. All of that goes on at Skinwalker. There's the disappearances. Oh, does it scare you, Frida? Because there's all the things that Linda Moulton Howe. Is that a name? I always get a name wrong. The lady who investigates the cattle mutilations, because she's done a lot at Skinwalker, hasn't she? Thing is, there's so much going. Oh no, don't worry about it, Burren. You're fine, lovey. Did you hear me? Did it die before I told you who Travis Walton was, or after? Because if it died before, I can tell you again. make sure I watch it during the day, or I would be crapping myself too. Oh well, at least if it's my live, it'll be your daytime, so it won't be too bad. But yeah, with oh, you're going to bed now, Burren? Oh, before. Oh, bed before. Right. Okie dokie. I shall go through it again. Cooper, don't bark. Stop it. Right. So, Travis Walton was a guy he was part of a logging crew. It's back in the 1970s. There were a logging crew working up for like several days up, cutting trees down and what have you. When they were coming down, no, it's okay, Burren, don't worry, lovey. They were coming back down after finishing their shift up in the woods after a few days. It was night time as they came down this single forest track. I think there were 5 of them in the vehicle. They noticed these lights. It turned out, as they found out afterwards, that it was a spaceship, flying saucer, UFO, whatever you want to call it. Travis Walton got out of the vehicle to go over and have a look at what it was. The rest were shouting, "Don't go." He was then hit by some kind of a ray or a beam and collapsed to the floor. They thought he was dead. They drove off and left him. Then they had second thoughts, felt guilty. They turned around and went back, and his body was gone and the spaceship was gone. Nobody believed them. They were accused of murdering him, all of this lot. And then days later, he reappeared again with the story of an abduction and what had happened to him in this spacecraft. Yeah, and he's still alive today. And he does a lot of, so the choices were either talk about that one or talk about Skinwalker, but we seem to be a bit divided. Oh, why am I naughty, Paul? What have I done? Because I've forgotten now. Oh, haven't you heard of it, Green Eyes? Oh, it really is interesting. There's a film called, is it called Fires in the Sky, I think? Stephanie Harlow done a brilliant YouTube vid on it. Oh, did she? Oh, good. Well, I'll tell you what then. Why don't I? Wednesday, how about Wednesday? I do Travis, not biblically, and Friday we do Skinwalker with a bit of incognito thrown in. And then if we're talking Skinwalker and anybody wants to come up on panel, how does that grab you all? Because I think Skinwalker, you can't do Skinwalker quickly. There's so much information surrounding it, and so because it's a multifaceted issue, isn't it? So right, well, I'll do that then. I'll get them booked in. So yeah, Travis Walton on Wednesday and Skinwalker on Friday. Brilliant. Green Eyes, all spooky things me just watch during the day. Do you listen to the dog walker stuff during the day though, Frida? And then obviously while I'm waiting for that to answer, and then obviously with any of them, whether it's the Walton stuff on Wednesday or Skinwalker on Friday, anybody wanting to come up and share any stories or thoughts or what have you, I'll put the link up and pin it. Say me keep drop, because I always forget to drop it, and then anybody wanting it can just click on it. Well, Green Eyes, honestly, these 2 that I found in Australia, I was like, whoa. I know we'd had the one, which was a bit tame, really, wasn't it? The guy who spotted the dogman when he was in his boat and he took the photograph. But these 2, yeah, I think we'll have you a bit scaredy wordy. I mean, there's some stuff I can't watch anything on demons at night. And yeah, that makes me, I get really fricky. So oh, you're looking forward to them. Ah, but will you? You'll be thinking you're seeing little eyes looking at you wherever you go. But yeah, very very interesting tales. One of them is particularly, yeah, I think that'll scare you. You'll be getting in bed with your mum going, "Mummy, please hug me." But yeah, I mean, it's not as freaky as that. If I hear a howl, will be yeah, clean knickers or dirty knickers. I mean, there's oh, thank you, Paul. That's really nice of you to say. We just like having chilled out chats in here, and as you know, whenever you come in, you're always welcome in. Um, but yeah, we've kind of gone. We seem to gravitate on this channel towards the weird and the wonderful and the spooky stories. And I'm really hoping if we can get Joe Mardre to come in as well, because obviously she knows loads about the skinwalkers, doesn't she? Oh, thanks. Oh, green eyes and free. Oh, you're all so lovely. Yeah, Juliet, not scared as long as it's not you. Well, I might even retell my story of my experience up in Scotland. If you guys remember, I can't remember who was in Green Eyes and Frida. You've probably heard it. I think Lady Witch, Simples as well. I was going to say to Green Eyes about Mommy will save, but you never know how people will take a text. I know. I think the thing is, I think most people are free and easy in here. We don't tend to take things the wrong way because we're just all chillaxed. Yes, Green Eyes. He's got now. Oh, he's got his professional case that came the other day for all his ghosty stuff. He's just been knackered because he's been working nights, but and obviously at weekends he then gets Child of Porky. However, she's not here. So hang on. So we've got this weekend. Hang on, I'm trying to think now. I'm losing track. 1, 2. I think it's next weekend that we won't have her. And then that's when we're thinking of, yeah, going out and doing something. I've got to try and think which days they are. Because I get myself really muddled up. I think I'm pretty sure it's that weekend of like the 27th, 28th that she won't be here. So that's when we can escape and go out and do some spooky stuff. But yeah, he's got this like proper professional black case with with the metal around it, and he's got all his things in there. So his meters and his those balls that move, the spirit's touch, and then the camera that I got for him, and yeah, he's all set up and ready to go. It's just having to work nights at the moment. It's been a little bit awkward to do it. So yeah, because I'm really looking forward to doing it. And we've got the different apps on our phones now as well. You can just see Porky's a Ghostbuster with his case of goodies. No, I really do. I don't want to ruin it for him because I can end up going screaming. I can see me screaming and running past. That's all you're going to see on videos is me running from one side to the other, screech, screech, screech. Frida Paul, yes, me too. Drama can be draining. A bit is okay, but I love Kiss's channel. So interesting. Oh, Frida, thank you. Oh, you lot are so sweet. Thanks so much. And his peaky hat. Yes, he's got a peaky hat. Who was it? Oh, it was Mrs. Mercury, wasn't he? Called him Porky Blinders the other day. That's him. Yeah, he'll have his peaky hat. So long as he doesn't wear the very fetching shorts with the white socks. Oh no, black socks and white trainers that he had on going in the other day. No, green eyes, you're not even joking. Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. Don't panic. Yeah. And he'll be like, what's his name? Fraser. You're all doomed. You're all fucking doomed. But do you know where I want to go though, Green Eyes? Do you remember when oh God, so I'm yeah, you're all doomed. If you go back to do you remember when I was doing the Viking stuff? That's another thing, half a job, Harry. I've only got halfway through that. And I posted all the photographs up on that short video showing the Viking stone cut graves up at Heysham Head. If any of you remember that, I've said to him, that's where I want us to go and do a ghost hunt. I want to go to that graveyard because there's the remains of the Saxon church there. There are all the Saxon burials, but there are those stone cut Viking graves. So if I get my way, that's where I'll drag him up to. Like I said, I think it's next weekend. But we'll see. He may have somewhere else. I mean, I think he's really wanting to go up to Todmorden, you know, where in case there's like UFOs or anything. But I no, I don't think I could do that. A UFO isn't something that I really want to see. I don't mind talking about them. And as you'll know, I think I may have seen one years ago, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. But yeah, I think if I saw one like coming down, landing, I know I'd absolutely poo my pants. Not good. So, guys and gals, if I wind this one up now, rather than boring you all to death, seeing as I've had a Porky's last vids were very good. He should do more. On your announcement, do I have to knit some booty? My announcement. Did I have an? Oh, do you know I do this all the time? Oh God, no, you don't. Don't be knitting any booties for me. I did have an. Do you know what? I've forgotten what it was. Eternal Flame. I've got to try and think now. What was I going to announce to people? Oh, you'll get used to me doing this. I'm bloody murder. All this lot know, though, don't you? I've got a memory like a sieve. I'll say something, forget. I'll probably remember at 3 o'clock in the morning. But no, there's absolutely no announcement that will involve knitting any booties, Eternal Flame. But thank you for the offer. God, I can't remember what I was going to. What the hell was I going to announce? Yeah, Frida, we definitely want him doing more because, I mean, he's got a love of history as well. But the way we wanted to do it was him doing kind of the ghost hunting and talking about but me doing the history side of things because I kind of remember dates a lot and facts a lot. Because when he was doing those, it was really funny because I was memoing at him because he'd get things wrong. Oh no, 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 no. No marriage, no engagement. Do you know, I don't even know. I can't even remember saying I had an announcement to make. I obviously have done, haven't I? But it's probably something really crap. I swear I don't know what's wrong with me. I'll say something and literally 2 seconds later I've forgotten what I was talking about. Well, if I remember what it was, Eternal Flame, and I'm sorry for causing any unnecessary excitement, but I cannot remember what I was going to announce to everybody. Oh, shite. There's lots in Lancashire to go out for Porky. I know. Obviously, he was thinking of Toddy. There's a lot of stuff going on up at Rivington. If any of you don't know, Rivington Pike and Rivington, it's an area up on the moors, not far from where I used to live. There's a lot of paranormal activity going on out there at the moment. Lots of reports of it. The Salisbury Hall. There's Old Nell's. There's Goosno, where, if you all remember Nuff Nuff going out there, going to the Wood Plumpton Witch. As I said, I really want to go to the Viking grave cuts at Heysham. And then where Porky works, they own a warehouse next door, warehouse factory, whatever it is, old building dating back to the, I think it's early to mid 1800s. And he was going to ask permission from his bosses, because it's not used, they just own it, to potentially go in there one night and do a ghost hunt and see if anything comes up. And then also as well, not far from here, is a place called, oh, Mrs. Mercury, you'll know this one, Salisbury Woods, near the golf course at the right near the zoo. And there's a pillbox there from World War II. Apparently, it was it was manned to protect the airfield at the time that was nearby. And I thought, I bet that has got some good vibes coming off it, oh, haven't you? Do you know what? Porky hadn't heard of it either. I found it at weekend. And this pillbox is there. There's a statue on top of it of, it's a sculpture of a soldier as though he's there with his gun. And apparently there were originally, during the war, there were 28,000 of these pillboxes. And now there are only 6,000 left. And this is one of them. So I thought, I bet that has got some good stuff coming off it, yeah? So, yeah, so we've loads of places to go to. But, yeah, my thing is I want to try and get him to go to Heysham. Because I thought if we go up there, we can also make a trip and go get some fish from Fleetwood as well. Some fresh cod straight off the boat. Yeah, it's a very nice place, Mrs. Mercury, because you're right next to the zoo. Lovely paths. I just found it by chance. Well, I'm saying at the weekend. I found it yesterday because it was so hot and I wanted to take Cooper out and didn't want him getting sunstroke. So, yeah, that's my new discovery. And there's loads of wild garlic there. It as you walk in, the smell of it, you just, oh God, it's so nice. So at least I know somewhere I can pick wild garlic now in future. So I shall, at this point, ladies and gents, think I shall wind this one up so I don't keep you all or make you all bored. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. I really appreciate it. All the support you give, it's so appreciated. Thank you. So we shall do Wednesday night will be Travis Walton story. And we can have a bit of a discussion about that. And then if anybody else, because it's alien based, if anybody's got any alien UFO stories they want to come up and share or share in chat, you can do. That'll be great. And then Friday we shall do Skinwalker and other scary stories. So, Grinnaz, night all, sleep well. See you all later. Thank you, Eternal Flame. Thank you for coming in. And Paul, Paula, Burren Witch, Julia, Frida, Simple as Meerkat. Have I missed any? I got everybody then, didn't I think. And anybody else who's listening who hasn't shown themselves, if Kathy's there or Meadow, or Starlight or Sam, anybody listening and not joining in, that's absolutely fine. Thank you all so much for your support. And I shall see you on Wednesday, hopefully. So as always, I'm going to give you a big kisses and see you all on the bright side. Night, everybody.